Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about creating online course, how you can do it like your business strategy. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Alex Genadinik. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's a big pleasure to speak again with you. I remember all these valuable insights, so valuable. And I often see your course on Udemy. You have the top position, the second position. Yeah, but yeah, it looks great, so valuable. And, I decided to create my course in the goal I found that if I cooperate with customers, who don't understand SEO, it's hard to get results. But if they know how it works, if they know the basic, then we can get much higher results to get these ranking positions. Because if someone comes and tell, okay, I need SEO traffic. What kind of traffic? How to create the strategy? Why we need to have high quality content? So that's why I decided to create our course with many great experts. And I often see your course on Udemy. I think it's your business model. Alex, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background. Remind about for our previous listeners, for new listeners, about your business, and any tips for others who think how to create the course, but they don't know where to start.
Sure. So I guess relevant, my background relevant for courses is I've been teaching online. I started on YouTube and that was 2012 or 13. And then quickly switched to Udemy. I think that was around 2014, something like that. So I've been teaching for a very long time now, kind of a dinosaur. And yeah, over time I've created over 150 courses, and I think now I have 700,000 students. So it's okay, there's always people who are better that I also look up to. So yeah, but at the same time I do have that, those years of experience on Udemy. um, and also I think last time we talked about it as well, the course licensing and course creation business, which is kind of like the B2B business, because a lot of course creators, they don't just create courses and put it on Udemy. They have something they do, like they sell courses on their own website, and they also sell course creation services for private companies, or course licensing of my existing content to private companies. So that's all the things I do with courses.
Uh, I want to clarify something. You mentioned that you created plus 150 courses.
Yeah, I think it's something like 160, but it's not that number. It can be deceiving too, because it's like, how many good courses did you create, and that number is much smaller.
Oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot. I remember how I created one course. It took time, so a lot of time. It's not my business model. Of course, I have other types of monetization, and I know it's hard. It's hard to create even one course. Alex, can you tell how you find ideas to create a lot of courses, plus 100 courses, and what is your goal to create all these courses?
Well, there are different ways to tell demand in your industry, and there's always new demand. Sometimes you talk to clients, they say, like one time, I didn't think a Google Citations course was going to be interesting at all, but a client of mine asked, "Hey, do you have anything about Google Citations?" And I'm like, "Who needs citations?" It's not a super popular topic, but then I'm like, okay, people need citations, and it's an easy topic to create a course on. It's not rocket science, and that kind of a course you can create quickly. So I'm like, okay, here's easy course on. So a lot of them are also, more or less difficult. Like if I was creating a course on some rocket science topics, it wouldn't be 150. It would be very few, and um, so sometimes the topics are not so challenging.
Yeah, and rocket science, you need to compete with Elon Musk. It's hard,
He doesn't
but
make courses. Luckily, he doesn't make courses, so we could beat him in e-learning.
yeah. Probably he can change the mind because I often see when he criticized AI, and after that he bought equipment, expensive equipment, to develop this technology on Twitter. So Elon Musk, we don't know what kind of mind he has, probably he can change a lot, So yeah, that's the
He's
case.
a big risk
Okay.
taker. I think he likes. I think we are safe. I think because he likes gigantic projects. He's not going to compete with our courses.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, Alex, let's talk about finding ideas. Can you tell how you get these ideas and how to create ideas that your competitors who create courses as well? Don't create another course for the sake of having it. I mean, like to share something new, valuable, another way, a different vision. So, any tips about finding these ideas?
Actually, sometimes every time I thought to myself, "Wow, like this new course has a different, unique, cool perspective that I really feel like it's profound, like it's really interesting." The students were like, "Meh," like, and I don't know if it's them or me, but sometimes when probably it's me, like something interesting for me, maybe it's not so interesting for other people. So a lot of times it's where there's existing demand, and wherever there's existing demand, necessarily you're going to have competition. So competition is okay. It's not a problem. It just makes you better. So there's like a 300 courses on SEO on Udemy, or even more, and every day there's more. Like there's always more, and it's only nobody's taking courses off. They're just adding. So there's always more, and you just have to figure out how do you be the best. And the people who are there's people in every niche. I compete with some people, but every one of them I watch their courses, and I think, I mean, it's hard to notice things that they do well because I don't want them to do well, but
Mm-hmm.
I try to watch their courses objectively and think, oh, okay, like I like this thing they're doing, I'm going to add it to my courses. And then I watch 10 instructors and I pick one thing I like, or two from them, and then suddenly my style becomes better, and suddenly I win. I start having better visuals, better presentation, more humor, just uh, little things I can add that together will just, competition is great if everybody's behind me.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, but if you have someone in the top, so you have
Very
inspiration to
frustrating.
overcome them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very motivating to overcome them also. They make me better. Yeah. I don't like them, but they make me better.
You mentioned that you use some jokes, and I think it's important, to. Once I spoke with Jim Edwards. He worked in Business Insider for 10 years. He started on this company from scratch. Then company was sold for $500 million. Good success, well-known company. And he told me that success of Business Insider depends on creating non-boring content. If we take business, it's boring. It's really boring, because I often read business books. Most of them are good for sleeping. When you have problem with sleep, just take a new book, read it, sleep well all night, save money with medicine, pills.
Yeah.
But I think if we are talking about entertainment content, it's a must-have. Yeah, jokes, humor. But in business content, we need to consider this as well, because bounce rate is high. It doesn't matter. YouTube, Udemy, books, blog posts. We have this bounce rate on YouTube, like 80% of people live in the first 20 seconds. Yeah, it's a lot. So can you tell how to create non-boring content? Jokes or any other things that can help to retain audience.
Sure. I think it's a great question. To be honest, it's actually with the learning, because if you're creating a course, people are not there for your jokes that much. It's nice to,
Yeah.
instead of being a grumpy professor instructor, being a one who smiles and who speaks with a smiling voice. It's nicer to have that because you're building a little bit of a relationship as a student with the instructor. But honestly, if I just do a lot of jokes and they have to wait for the actual, they're there to learn something. If they have to wait, and I go on one segue and then I go on another distraction, and here's a joke about my dog. Nobody cares about my dog, like please, it's like, so one or two little pieces of humor is good, but but just very tastefully, very little. And also, by the way, a lot more people than you think will think you're not funny, because you think I'm so funny. Not really, not really. No. And so, you know, because of that, people will just be more bored. So I think you got to jump right into the content. So in my videos, in my courses, I spend maybe a 1 or 2 or 3 minute video in the introduction to explain to students what who I am, and really most importantly how the course is structured, so their expectations are set. And in every course, as soon as video number 2 hits, they're already learning, and they're not just learning; they're learning some of the best stuff. Like the best stuff goes up front, not like if it's something is advanced, obviously it cannot go up front, but something that's like interesting things for them to learn right away, to take home right away, to use right away, so that they're like, okay, this is not going to waste my time, because they're wondering, is this going to waste my time? Because if I spend 10 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, that's expensive, especially if they have to restart with a different course if mine is not good. So that's really the most important thing. If you present well, if your speech is well, if you're editing, like if you present on screen, it's hard to edit. But if you are presenting in PowerPoint presentations, you can make your speech absolutely perfect, because you can cut a lot because you're not in the scene, right? Because if you're in video, the video will jump too much. But so it depends how you edit. If you're a good speaker or presenter, if you get rid of words like and, maybe, it will just flow better. And that's actually more. And if you use tonality to draw attention to some things that are important, right? So those things keep people engaged, and as long as they can hang on to every sentence, and every sentence kind of builds a story, and they can stay with that throughout the course, I think that's really best. And personality is great, humor is best, humor is a little bit nice, props can be good, visuals, but really organized and effective learning that they actually do learn, they can use. So like also exercise, and so that they can feel like, oh, I'm gaining something, I'm gaining something, I'm gaining something. Is that a super long answer to your question?
Yeah, but valuable. And Alex, I wanna ask you the difference between learning from YouTube and Udemy. You mentioned that you started on YouTube, and I think on YouTube we can find a lot of great lessons, but without structure. So we need to have this logical chain by learning something. Can you tell advantages of learning on Udemy, to take course on Udemy compared to YouTube or other different channels?
Sure. To be completely fair, there's incredible content on YouTube. I learned neuroscience from the best professors in the world, like Robert Sapolsky. There's a famous guy now, Huberman. And I learned these kinds of crazy topics. This is only on YouTube. So YouTube is amazing. Not everybody's on Udemy. So on Udemy, you get the advantages you get are you get access to the instructors. You can ask questions. Most instructors answer. Like I try to answer within 24 hours, because people pay, so I feel a responsibility for them to help them. I mean, obviously, if somebody asks me 300 questions, I can't keep up. But reasonable people, every year I get one person who asks me a million questions. But generally, people are reasonable. So you get questions, you get structure, you get updates. So on YouTube, you have to, if a video is from 2001, or from a few years ago, it's from a few years ago. But on Udemy, instructors largely keep their courses updated, and if they're not updated, they're going to kind of fall in the search, because students are going to negatively comment, and so other courses will come up. So you get a lot of updates, a lot of structure, quizzes, and a lot of times, because you can update on Udemy, like in my courses, I see all the feedback, and then that shell of the course is the same, but inside the course, the videos, a lot of them I update based on what students say. So they say, like,
Mhm.
your course doesn't have this. All right, tomorrow it's going to have that. Whereas on YouTube, if I make a video, I can never really change that video, just by the nature of YouTube. So a lot of these, and I think you're not getting sold to. Like on YouTube, it's like how to introduction to affiliate marketing. Okay, 3-minute introduction, and after that, now buy this thing from me. join my mailing list, do this for me. And by the way, the things I recommended you, I only recommend because I'm going to get paid.
Yeah. Got it.
And I can, yeah. So a lot of YouTube has a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned about update. I think it's a must-have today. In digital marketing. I love reading books because many great books. I don't know that we need to update them. Like for example, I wrote a book from Josh Sugarman about marketing. He wrote this book like 40 years ago, but I can relate all this information to digital marketing. He mentioned how to hook readers, how to keep retain them because it's important today. If you can't, then people bounce fast, forget about your content website. So yeah, and but if you are talking about uh, another type of content that we create for courses, we need to update. Can you tell how often do you update your content and how you find topics that you need to update? I mean, like you change videos, articles, any tips about that?
Most of my time is spent updating the courses, which is
Mhm.
so painful because it's 150 plus courses.
Yeah,
It's
I can
it's a hard,
imagine.
yeah. And I listened, like, there's a professionalism that I only got many years after I started. And the most boring thing you can do is to watch your own course because you already planned it, filmed it, edited it. You already watched it like 5 times before it's even live. But then after it's live, like a comeback of 6 months or a year, because you think it's great. You launched it, you think it's great. It's always worse than we think it is just because it's nature of, we always think the best possible option of, yeah, it's always. And so then I go and listen to my course. I go and I watch the course. Sometimes I go for a walk and I listen just not look at the pictures, but visually my vocal presentation. And I look and I listen. I'm like, oh, I'm falling asleep at this moment. Minute 3 of like
Mhm.
a specific video. I'm like, is that a coincidence or not? I listen again. I'm like, yeah. And then I go in and I'm like, oh, I went on a tangent or I was unclear. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm doing that with my own stuff, then students must be really hating this. And then I
Yeah.
know what the problem is and I go and fix it. And then students just move on to the next thing to hate about my course. And then, so it's like, but at least that part is fixed. And so I watch a lot of my old courses. Uh, and then I go and then I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm punishing people so badly by making them watch this. Is not that
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Gotcha. Got
Embarrassing.
that.
Like
Yeah.
like
And,
these online memes where you're like, can't believe it.
yeah. Uh, okay. You remind me, Lily Ray. I asked you to write a checklist for my course about EAT. She did it when I launched my course. After some time, like month or 2 months, Google changed EAT to EEAT. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
I ask you, please update this content, and yeah, I'm still waiting because she's so busy with many things to do. So yeah, I decided to do myself, to spend time with that. And okay, I'm interested about creating course like for help to sell your products. It's not like business model because, for example, Ahrefs has a course that can help to sell Ahrefs. SEMrush has such courses to with the help to sell SEMrush services. So, can you tell how to do it? I mean, like if companies wanna jump on this field for the sake of selling their products. For example, myself, I created this course
Well,
to
yeah.
sell my services. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you know how I said that my courses are not that good? The course I like those companies you mentioned. I
Mhm,
use them. Their courses are so bad,
mhm.
like many levels. And I know because I'm like, okay, competitors I have to watch. So I watch them and like, oh, impressively bad. Like they're very thin and just like, nah. So, if you're gonna make stuff, it's like don't make stuff that like only partially helps. I think that would be that was my reaction to their courses. I think if you're planning to make a course, if you make a course on like how to introduction to SEO, nobody need that one, right? Because it's 300 million of those. But you should make one like Chat GPT and SEO. That's a cool one. People will buy that. They will jump on that. I can partner with you on that. We can make actually good money on that on Udemy. True story. I know for as close to a fact as you can get to a fact. So just like that, I make something good on something new and interesting. Right now, it just so happens that this is new. In a month, there will be like 300 courses about ChatGPT and SEO. Yeah, and so we'll have to look for something else like artificial augmented reality and SEO, which doesn't seem like it's going to be a thing, but something. So yeah, I think something current is always more compelling than like, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think I was preferring to take my answer in a different place because I think that right yeah,
it's political stuff. I got it. When you ask politicians about something, they can reply in a different way. So we need to do
this one wasn't political. It was actually I was trying to lead you to a better place because if you make a course to promote your business, I gave you the best course idea that you can have today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hrefs can create a lot of content on blog posts, on YouTube. They're great with that. But when they need repurpose this content to course, probably they have no time. So that's why we have these courses. And I didn't check out SEMrush, Ahrefs courses. I know they have these courses, but I usually don't use this format because I prefer to practice. I read a lot, so it's my way. But I think, if you like courses, because I asked my audience a few times the best way how to learn, and plus 50% replied courses. So they prefer courses than any other type, video, blogs, books. So yeah. Okay, Alex, let's talk about how to teach the right way. It's interesting that I don't remember exactly the study, but the data from the study was that 40% of students only consume 40% of all information. 60% are ignored. And I see when students overlearn or just take the course and forget about this course. So can you tell the right way how to transfer data directly to students' minds? Because I have this issue with my son. I often tell him, you need to read books. No, I'm going to be a soccer star. I need to play soccer. I know Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know, by the way, where he took this data, but he told me that Cristiano Ronaldo didn't learn on school. He was so bad student. Okay, he didn't learn on school, but probably he learned in life, to get all this information. So can you tell how to transfer data to lazy students?
I mean, you can't, right? Because a person has to be naturally motivated. They have to want to. So what you can tell, like if it's an unmotivated person, you have to explain to them.
Nothing helps, yeah.
Well, you have to explain to them in their own, like paint a picture of like, okay, do you want to be homeless? No. Because there's a lot of studies that they show that picture, like we think that like if I show you a picture of a yacht or a vacation, it's going to motivate you, and it has a little bit of motivation, but then it's not going to make you work. But if you don't work, you're going to be homeless. Picture yourself being homeless on drugs and whatever, all this. So picturing the worst outcome is a far stronger motivator. Like, do you know what happens to kids like you who don't study, who want to be Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have a car. They don't have a girlfriend. They don't have a this. They don't have and you want those things, okay? There's actually there's a lot of science behind this. We can joke about it, but it's real. But I think the more politically correct answer is to whatever he does want, you can show him how to, if you make him study the things that actually clearly are the stepping stones to the things he does want, it would be, and then make him decide to do it. Like, it would be, once it makes sense to him, he'll find the motivation and the energy to do it. If you force him and he's doing it like forced, people just find it stressful, and they resent it.
Yeah, I agree. You remind me two people. The first, Bernard Shaw, and he told, if you want to teach someone, you never teach this person. Yeah, because this person, if wants to learn, you can teach. But if you want to force, it doesn't work 100%. And the second person, Elon Musk, he told that someone asked him about the modern system of education and how he can convert or change the system. And he replied, it's better to create like online game, because you don't need to teach kids to play online games. I don't know any parent who taught their kids how to play online games. I don't know how they can download all these games to play them. They know everything. And if my son shows how to play, many features, many things to do, and he learned himself. But if you ask him to read a book, it's boring, it's not interesting, I don't want to do it to waste my time, so
But kids, as soon as they see a game, but then they hear that this game is good for them, they don't like it anymore.
yeah yeah I agree. Okay, Alex, I have the question about mistakes. In my life, I made a lot of mistakes. It's hard to count all of them. Some of them are big. For example, in 2008, I had a big financial company in Ukraine, in Odessa. But the world crisis destroyed this company, smashed completely. I lost all my investments. I had debts like 3,000 average salaries in Ukraine, a lot. But and I worked like 5 years. Work hard to get back all this my debts, and but I learned I need to, I don't need to go all in now to have some reserve fund, because it's hard to predict all things that might happen in our lives. Can you tell about mistakes that companies still do by creating their courses, and your tips how to find a much better way?
I mean, in a way, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying, right? Everybody will make mistakes. They're kind of, in some sense, a good sign, and most of them are very recoverable. So it's not it has a very negative connotation, but it's a pretty good thing. I think for companies, they usually see, okay, we're going to make a course. They don't have any plan to update it or improve it. And it's not even about updating it as things change, but like, they think that they're going to present something and it's going to be good. And they might be experts, but they're not good teachers. And they have no experience creating course content, and students have a certain expectation of how a course is supposed to flow. And when you launch a course and you don't plan to update the course after that, and the course has all these problems that are created just because it's your first time creating courses, and naturally it's going to have problems. And of course, these companies think, our course is going to be great because it has the information. But just sharing information is not teaching. And people and companies take the word course and the word learning kind of like as a throwaway, like, it's a course, but I just have to show. No, it's like people kind of expect a real course, that they will take whatever is best available, but they would prefer a well-structured course. That's the real expectation. So that's really the mistake, is that launching something thinking, I'm amazing, how could anybody not like this? And then which everybody thinks that, right? My content's so good.
You described my feeling. If I write a new article, I can feel, wow, it's the best article ever.
Good.
But after submitting, when you got low engagement,
Yeah.
without SEO traffic. Yeah. So yeah, it's better to be consistent, to write a lot, because some content works, some most content don't work. That's okay, it's normal. So you can learn from that, from your failures. And Alex, I wanna ask you about another content that you create. I opened your LinkedIn profile because I love opening LinkedIn profiles, and I see in your bio free time Amazon best-selling offer. Let's talk about that. I love
Oh,
reading books. This format is
I thought you were gonna say today I put on LinkedIn, I launched a song. I thought you were gonna mention that.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll check
today. I
out.
don't know. That was today. I launched a song. Maybe we can link to it somewhere because now it has like 8 views or something. Because it's like I launched it and then I had to get on get on our show. So I'm like, I need to
Uh-huh.
promote this thing.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I'll check out. Okay, let's talk about writing books. Can you tell how to craft the story that people are interested to read? Because I found data that readers only read 5% of all books. I mean, like 95% are ignored on the average data. So, your tips how to write a book that people wanna read.
So it's not stories, my books. They're business related books,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very much like the courses. They're kind of like learn this thing. Like my popular book is the business planning book, and again, it's because there was demand. I wouldn't have thought like 10 years ago if you asked me business planning book. I'm like, why would you want a business planning book? Just plan a little, go and try it, right? That would be kind of the entrepreneur way. But then I had a lot of demand for business planning, and I wrote this book, and then I actually rewrote that book like 20 times. It's true, like
Mm-hmm.
major edits, like with different editors, and now there's a couple of universities using that book. It's still, I think, it's not the greatest book in the world. Because it's so hard to update books. It's so time consuming that I just update the courses. I haven't updated that book for a little while, but yeah, it's basically just again, same thing. You publish it, you think I'm amazing. Reviews disagree, uh, partially at least. Not fully. People kind of like that book the whole, but there was always something missing. And then I'm like, okay, I read the reviews. Next year I update. Read some more reviews. Next year I update. So a lot of it is persistence. I wish I could say I'm a genius, and for the first time that I wrote it, it really was great. But it just, unfortunately, I'm not a genius. And it's just persistent.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's important to be consistent, persistent, share value. Forget about selling because I see why companies fail. They think how to sell. No, think how to help others, support them, share value as much as possible. If you do it, then customers will buy your products if it's high quality, of course.
I
Uh,
mean, there's
yeah.
there's a counter argument to that. The heartbreaking part about it is that there's insane cheating on Amazon. Like
Mhm.
you can I see there's all these stories about like product just launched. Here's 1,000 reviews on it. Like it's not from a major brand. Like it's impossible. And there's this the crazy cheating. And it is actually really hard to compete fairly if you just want to help people and do something nice. It's actually so hard because you have to be 5 times better just to have the same result. So that there's
Mhm.
always that side of it.
Mhm. When we have our first episode, AI was not like we have today, and I can't ignore this topic. I used AI before ChatGPT. Right now, I can use like a regular tool, but I see when content creators overuse AI by using generic prompts, or even if they craft these prompts, they don't edit a lot. So can you tell how AI can help you today and your way of using AI in the smart way?
So I use it as like a really helpful co-creator. So
Mhm.
imagine you're co-creating with a dream co-creator, like somebody who's super smart, like college professor level kind of. Um, and so I was creating a course the other day, and I was like, what students complain the most in books and courses is, and the reason you think this is so great and people think it's not, is because you have perspectives that are missing.
Mhm.
So like, um it's hard to come up with an example now, but like, like they just, like in hiring, for example, you can talk about how to hire A players and hire a lot of, a lot about hiring, but you might forget something that's really current now, which is, now a very popular topic in hiring is getting rid of your subconscious bias in how you hire. It's like very topical now. So, as a human, I just can't think of every topic within a topic that's interesting, but some students will have that need and they will complain. So a chat GPT will tell me, hey, here are, like, I can literally ask it, hey, what are the 10 subfields within a field that I need to cover? And like 6 of them I probably was already doing. 4 of them I'm like, oh my God, I had no great idea, chat GPT. And then I might realize, I don't know that much about this subtopic. ChatGPT, can you explain to me about it quickly? And summarize it.
Okay.
I summarize it in 100 words. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I can literally go and make a lecture right there and then without, like, it would be a little irresponsible to do it with such a shortcut. It's just an extreme example, but I theoretically could go, because you really shouldn't. It's not only an ethical problem, but it will just appear like you'll appear like you're a non-expert. Even if I do that, sometimes I kind of say, like, I don't have that much experience in this, or I haven't done this myself, but you can try it. So I kind of preempt that. But you can do it that way, and it just makes your content fuller. Like a human can think of all the perspectives, or if a human can, it will take them a long time. And I like to use ChatGPT that way.
Nice. Once I spoke with Jeff Coyle. He's co-founder on Market News. Well-known tool with AI. And by the way, he filmed a video for my course as well. And he told me that in the future, we'll have 3 types of companies. Companies that create AI, develop AI. The second, that implement AI, and the third, obsolete companies that can leave the trade. So can you tell how to adapt to the possible future? Do you have some special goals? Like to use more AI, to test different formats. Even it's not about marketing, because I don't know marketers who don't use AI today. I don't know content creators who ignore this tool. But I see some niches like accounting. Now, I have 2 brothers. They work in these niches like plus 15 years, and they ignore AI. They tried, played a few times, and forget about this tool, because they told me that over 20 years, nothing changed. This industry didn't change a lot. But today, this market like plus $144 billion in the US just for services without paying salaries. I think like it's much bigger trade. And I see big software companies like CostPoint, QuickBooks, they implement AI that can, and people can lose their job. So can you tell ideas how anyone, not only marketers, can implement, adapt AI to win in the future, not to lose?
Yeah, I don't know too much about accounting, but I actually have seen that there is demand for AI in accounting, even in e-learning. Like, and I think this is the thing that every industry has. Like, this is the fastest way to become a dinosaur, right? Like, we don't need to learn.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to learn. That's not a good. Somebody else will for sure learn. So I think it's almost like, I don't have a perfect answer, but I have an answer. I don't know if it's a great one. Sometimes it's also not, even though I'm in the field of learning and I try to keep my skills up, it's boring. It's honestly boring to learn so many things, and you sometimes have all these other pressures. You don't have time to learn, and so the way that I incentivize myself is, well, if I learn it, I can make money with it in, by creating, after I'm good at it, I can make a course, which is very incentivizing, and then I'm much more motivated. So I think other people, it is boring to learn technology just for the technology itself. Like, no, it's not that fun. But if you learn it for, hey, I'm going to maybe do something like innovative or something cool, or at least teach others, or get a promotion or something, or like we talked about earlier, maybe you don't want to be out of a job in 3 years.
Yeah.
Imagine the worst. That would be a little bit more motivating to, and also I think finding a style of learning that works for you. Like, some people are busy, they like to learn on the commute, they listen. Some people go for a walk and combine it with exercise, so but again, if you want to, you'll find something forward looking that you can do in most industries. But if you don't want to, you'll find reasons why not, and that's it.
Nice.
Sometimes it's a personality type, like people who go into accounting, they just want to do the accounting, and they're fine, they just, so they don't understand us, and we don't understand them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, you need to find your loving format. It doesn't matter. Video, courses, books, blog posts. Just find your loving format. I remember when Ferry Kazoni, he told me that I asked about his loving format, and he told YouTube. He can watch a lot of YouTube videos, and today his company, I don't know, yeah, like good revenue, well-known company in PR, and he learned PR by watching YouTube videos every single day, ignoring other formats because he loves this format. So yeah, I completely agree. I usually combine formats, but if you have one, that's okay. That's normal. And Alex, my final question about your experience. If you started today from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills, what will you do today to learn more about SEO? And one more, to have the balance with your family, because I know you're a family man, you have wife, kids. So, any tips how to grow and don't forget about family, share time with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's super hard, like, because whatever you do, you're neglecting the other responsibility, and vice
Yeah.
versa. And you always need to be doing more of both.
Mhm.
So I think, in terms of what you would do for work, maybe SEO, I don't know, like, I have my hands on the pulse of like a lot of online businesses, just because sometimes I create courses and I do a little bit. But to do it from absolute scratch, facing all this crazy competition everywhere, it's really hard to know what to do, even for me. Like, because I get this question a lot from students, and I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Good luck. But of course, you want to draw on your past experience, stuff like this. That's a brutal question. It's I mean, I have some fallback things, but I don't know, for a random situation, like, they wouldn't be available. So I don't know. But I think,
Mhm.
to the second part of the question, to balance it with family, I think you have to make a schedule in the calendar and stick very closely to it, and get rid of all the other distractions. Everything not important, out. And as long as you can stick to a calendar, the calendar will save you, because it will help you to, you can be, you want to be there, but you want to be present. Like, if you're with kids, you don't want to be thinking about work and checking your phone. That's not good for anybody. You're not spending quality time, and the kids are like, well, the phone is more important. um and vice versa. If you're working, you want to be intensely working, so that, because you're not your version of yourself where you're single, where you have, 24 hours in a day, I can work if I want. There's that's a gone, right? So you have to squeeze the most out of yourself as possible, and decision making what you're working on, and intense focus when you are working on it.
Yeah.
So just, really present when you're there.
Yeah, have priorities. I agree. You need to prioritize because we can't do anything, and we have the same time that Elon Musk has, 24 hours a day. He doesn't have 25 hours or 50 hours. He has 24. So we need to
He's
find
got like a
priority.
million children.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. So he has many children. How much? Like 7 or 5?
I
I
thought
know
like
about.
11 or 12 or 13. I don't know, something
Ah,
crazy.
yeah. Okay, got it. A lot more.
I don't know.
5. Yeah, 5 children from the first marriage. Then he got new kids as well. So
He
yeah,
likes
from
algorithms, like exponential, exponential growth.
yeah, yeah. I think he wants to send all of them to
To
Mars,
Mars.
and yeah, to create buildings there. So we'll see. Yeah, it's exciting. Alex, it's a big pleasure to get on my show to learn from you. You always share a lot of valuable insights. You're so kind to share this value, guys. You need to follow Alex. I see you are active on LinkedIn, so you post content on LinkedIn. Guys, you can follow Alex on LinkedIn. Tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to follow you, how to reach out to you.
Sure. I think right now the best place is on probably my website, problemio.com. It will link to my courses, which most of my courses are on Udemy. So we can leave links to my Udemy profile. And on LinkedIn, I only post when I promote something rarely, like my song or something that I also launch rarely. So I'm not too active on LinkedIn. It's just I try to actually do less social media. But yeah, it's courses if you want to learn something. And of course, I always appreciate people who listen to who listen to my music, because it's like there's levels of like they don't like it, or they like it less, or they pretend to like it. And if you pretend to like it or like it not terribly, or don't dislike it terribly, I will appreciate it, because it's kind of the last passion project I have left is the music.
Yeah, I see. An hour ago, you posted this music. So yeah, I need to listen to this music, guys. You can
Yeah.
find this link in LinkedIn account. I'll submit to podcast notes. Thanks, guys, for listening and watching us.